Hello everybody, so for today's card I'm using the CC Designs Rodney image and I stamped him onto the 80-pound Copic quality white cardstock with my Memento Tuxedo Black ink, and I'm just going to use my Koh-i-Noor woodless color pencils. You can use any pencil crayons really, and odorless mineral spirits to color it in. I've already got a video on my channel using Prismacolor pencils with odorless mineral spirits or Gamsol. That's just a brand name, whatever works. So yeah, if you're curious about that, you can check that out if you haven't already seen it. And yeah, I'm just using the Copic cardstock this time because it's a pretty small image, not a lot of details, so I'm not doing a ton of coloring, and this just works just as well. So I of course die cut the image with my MFT Pierced Circle Stacks Dynamics because I use them on everything. Yeah, I started with the lighter brown and worked my way to the darker brown and then finally to the black, and I didn't bother sanding off my blending stump between any of these colors because they're all very similar, and if you work from lightest to darkest you don't have to worry about it. And then when I did this little gray area, I just kind of flipped the stump around a tiny little bit, and yeah, didn't smear blend any of the darker color, and it was just fine. For the red part though, I did sand off any of the extra color because I didn't want to muddy up the red of his nose, because even though his name is Rodney, to me he's Rudolph. So I made sure to make his nose super bright and left that teensy bit of white just to give it a little bit of a reflection. And then just to add a little bit of shading around it, I just grabbed my W1 and W00 Copic markers because I still find it simpler to add shading with a Copic marker than I do with more pencils. And that was it for the little main image. So I'm using the Bo Bunny Elf Magic papers, and I actually decided to make a little mini card, which was a 3x4 card, and it just so happens that the second largest MFT postage stamps dies worked perfectly for that. So I die cut the darker blue paper with the dies and then just trimmed down the other pattern papers. And that little polka dot paper worked so well to kind of frame the die cut paper, so things were just working out for this little card. And then for the sentiments, I'm using my Joyful Greetings stamp set, and of course my stamp positioner. So I've had a lot of people asking about that with rubber stamps and lining them up, and I show the stamp positioner a lot, but honestly, if you don't have one, you should get one because it just comes in so handy. And especially for little things like this, you can pre-trim everything down and then just add a teensy bit of adhesive just to hold it in place, and then use your stamp positioner so you get it stamped perfectly straight on to whatever you want to stamp it on. So works really well. So I'd already trimmed that little piece down, and then I just used my scissors and eyeballed the center. You can use a ruler and a pencil just to mark the center if that doesn't work for you, but I just eyeball it and then trim the ends. And then I've got kind of my sentiment done. And then the ribbon, I honestly do not know where this came from. It was in my stash, like in the drawer. I just came across it earlier today and I was like, that would go perfectly with this card. So grabbed it and used it up, and I have none left, and yeah, don't know where it came from. So tied that in a bow and then added my little main image to my little card front, and then the sentiment I decided to pop up on dimensional. Since I tied the bow on the little card front, it's already got some lumps and bumps, so pop the sentiment onto there, and then I'm going to adhere that to my card, which was a piece of 6" by 4" cardstock that I scored at the 3" lines. So it was a portrait style card. So it's really cute. I'm kind of enjoying making these littler cards. It'd be perfect to add a little gift card on the inside. You could like adhere to the top flap of the inside. So did that, and then on the inside of the card, I did the exact same layout as the outside, at least with the pattern papers. And then I grabbed another little sentiment from my Joyful Greetings set and used my stamp positioner again just to make sure I got that straight. I'm usually pretty good at eyeballing it, but sometimes it's just easier to be safe than sorry and just use the positioner. So stamp that on another strip, and then this one I just trimmed down with my scissors before trimming the little flag ends. Did that, and then I'm going to adhere everything together for the inside of the card, and that's pretty much all there was to it for the inside. So yeah, die cut another white circle for a space to write something to the recipient. Got that in there, and then I had to add a little bit of embellishment to the outside. I decided against going with, I was going to do some fun flock and some stickles and everything else, and again decided to keep her a little easy, so I got my Viva Decor Glass Effects gel out, which is the same as like crystal effects, glassy effects, all that kind of stuff. It's all the same stuff. So added that to his nose so that it'll be nice and shiny. I don't use that stuff very often just because I'm too impatient for it to dry. But did that and set it aside to let it dry. And then the whole point of making a 3x4 card was so I could use more of the 6x6 paper and make it into an envelope. So that's one of the dimensions that was on the envelope punch board. If you used a 6x6 paper, you could make a 3x4 card. So I purposely chose this paper from that Bo Bunny pack because it just suits an envelope in my opinion. I think it's so cute. So I got everything scored and punched all the corners, and then it just made a point to make sure that the front of the envelope goes in the right direction. Just sometimes certain pattern papers you want to make sure before you adhere it, because otherwise the envelope looks like it's upside down, if that makes any sense. So yeah, made sure it looked right from the front and then adhered it, and that's all there was to it. So I will put a link below to my blog post with links to all the supplies used. Thank you guys so much for watching, and please subscribe if you haven't to see all my videos, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!